And welcome to By the Numbers. I'm Pep Fernandez. This is EPJ Eric Paul Johnson. Every single Tuesday in the Press Enterprise, you can find Eric. I like covering up this half of it, and it just says, "It's the Big Daddy" in Eric's picture. So that's what I like to do. He's the Big Daddy of high school sports, and he likes to break down the numbers. And of course, there's plenty of numbers to crunch when you go back to that Centennial Upland football playoff game this past Friday. My poor Happy Camp Indians didn't have a chance for the state record, but Centennial also broke a national record in the process.
Yeah, you know, when a game like this, kind of wild, crazy numbers coming out everywhere. I initially, in my stats, had 964 yards. Another paper had 909 yards. So throughout everything, we had to wait for Centennial to go through game film, post their stats. They came up with 946 yards in that 86-56 victory over Upland, breaking the national record by 9 yards. That national record was set last year by a team in St. Stanislaus of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. And yes, Happy Camp now.
Man.
You know, kind of one of their claims to fame right
They
now.
Don't have
recently,
it anymore.
yeah, the 912 yards by Happy Camp in 1967, no longer the state record for yards in a game, and it was just a great for Centennial. It was a record-breaking night all around because they set the school record for points in a game with 86, breaking the old record of 84. They set the area record for most rushing yards in a game, 717 or 711. And that broke the area previous record of 693. So, yeah, just a crazy night for Centennial's offense that they can, you know, approach. That we're getting close to approaching 1,000 yards maybe in a game.
I was hoping for triple-digit points.
So were the Centennial fans. When they hit 86, there was still about 3 or 4 minutes left, and the Centennial fans started chanting, "We want 100."
That's an eternity for the Centennial offense to get 2 more touchdowns.
Yeah, and the one thing is Matt Logan will rarely run up a score. You know, it would have to have been Upland would have had to keep scoring with them, keep it 2 to 3 touchdowns. Once Centennial got it back up to 30 points, you know, he kind of started pulling out some of his starters.
Called off the dogs, so to speak. All right, a big player in that record-setting game for Centennial was our guy beats by Trey Watson, who set a new area record. Over 500 yards right on the ground just for him.
Right. I mean, that was, you know, we looked at the game against Chaparral. He kind of got, you know, caught up in that muddy field, couldn't get much done on the ground. So Robert Weber took control in the quarterfinals, set a school record for passing yards in that game. Well, Trey more than made up for that against Upland. 519 rushing yards in that game.
They were saving him. They were saving him at Chaparral. They knew it was coming up. So.
Right. So I'm, you know, breaking the inland record that was previously set, 507 yards. David Dotson in 1991. That had been a long stand over 20 years that record has stood. He's only the 4th player in area history to ever go over 500 yards. Still finished 100 yards shy of the state record. Ronnie Jenkins still holds that record.
Happy Camp?
Not from Happy Camp.
Okay.
I believe he's down Santiago area, but actually no, he's I think maybe from Ventura area. I'd have to go back and check on that. But you know, 619 yards. That's going to be a tough one to approach, but. You know, you got to think Watson might have had a shot with it. He got sick on one series, and J.J. Taylor came in, and his first carry was a 50-yard touchdown run. So there was plenty of potential for that. And if you get in these shootout games, Centennial does prefer to run the ball first, even in that spread offense. That's what they do best. And you know, another big night from Trey Watson. We saw him run for over 460 yards earlier this year against St. Bonaventure. So, and with that big performance, he also set the school record for yards in a season. He's over approaching 3,200 now. He broke the record of Mike Bass, who was his running backs coach the last 2 years at Centennial before moving over to Corona this year.
And as dominant as the Centennial football team has been, the Santiago volleyball team just as dominant. They're playing in the Southern California Finals as of when we tape the show on Tuesday. The match is tonight. Haven't lost a match all season, just one set all season, and that leads us to our question of the week.
Yeah, right now Santiago's set record is 95-1. So they have a potential to make some state history. Going through the Cali Sports record book, the best percentage of set victories on the year belongs to the 1985 Maricosta volleyball team, 85-2. So if Santiago can either sweep the next 2 matches or only drop 1 set over their next 2 matches, they would be able to set that state record. They have a potential of finishing this year with 41 victories on the season, which would be the second most in area history. So the question of the week is, Who holds the inland area record for in girls volleyball for most match victories in a season with 51?
Which is also a state record, right?
It's not a state record. Or I'd have to look at that.
see, the whole area.
Yes, they do. They do hold the state record.
So a local team holds the state record. So obviously, if you're thinking about state, think local, right? It's a hometown team.
Yes, it is. It is an
inland area
area and state record. So.
All right, so I'm going to start dusting off the record books and see if I can figure this one out. Thanks, EPJ. I'm Pep Fernandez. We'll see you next time on By the Numbers.